Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. We've got a very interesting segment on the Bad Batch Season 3, and we've also got another update for the Acolyte. But before all of that, we're gonna start with what is probably our first official tease for Ahsoka Season 2. Dave Filoni drew that picture with the outreached hand of the father, and instead of Baylan on top of it on Peridea, it was Ahsoka and Sabine. Dave also spoke about the dynamic between Thrawn and Hera Syndulla, just like we saw in Star Wars Rebels, coming into play in Season 2. But now there is more. Wes Chatham, who played Captain Enoch, Grand Admiral Thrawn's right-hand man in Peridea. In the known galaxy, that would be Captain Pelion, but on Peridea, it was Enoch. And we didn't really find out much in the first season, but Wes Chatham is now teasing there is more to the story, there is more to his character. Stuff he was told by Dave Filoni doesn't come into play until Season 2. Quite exciting, to be honest. Let's see what they said. So he sat down with Dagobah Dispatch, the podcast for EntertainmentWeekly.com, and they say this: Star Wars fans eagerly anticipated the live-action debut of Grand Admiral Thrawn, one of the most famous expanded universe characters. So when he finally appeared in live action in the Ahsoka show, he had a creepy, helmeted right-hand man at his side. Sporting an unsettling golden face-plated helmet, Captain Enoch controlled the forces that did Thrawn's bidding. Wes Chatham reveals that when he first arrived in LA for a suit test, he had so many questions. He said, quote, "What is his role? What is this?" And he was told by Dave and others, "Sorry, we can't give you any of that yet. Do you want to come out and test or not?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course." And he reveals one of the influences for Enoch's golden visage was Excalibur. Chatham also hints there is much more to come in terms of learning about the importance and potential origins of the enigmatic character. He said this: "The potential of this character is exciting, and there are some vague hints. There has to be a reason that character is there." And Chatham finishes by saying that in conversations with Dave, he started to understand the bigger picture, saying this: "Once you start working with him, he is very open in explaining to you what his thoughts are, and what the potentials are and what things to focus on. He gives you a lot of context and a good picture of what his purpose was. Hopefully we see more of this purpose in Season 2. Needless to say, the timing is very strange considering it's been 5 months since the Ahsoka show came to an end, and we're only getting this interview now. That being said, as I covered in a video back in September, Enoch's name could be a hint towards the mystical elements surrounding the nature of the Night Troopers, paralleling Enoch from the Bible, who had authority over divine beings. There is no doubt a deliberate parallel with the naming, some kind of metaphor there, one that is no doubt going to resurface the next time we visit Dathomir. And so moving on my dear friends, let's talk about the Bad Batch Season 3. But just before we do, please be sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below if you've not done so, and make sure to hit the bell to be alerted every time that I post a new video. I cover the latest news, theories, speculation, you name it, daily Star Wars videos right here. But no more jibber jabber, let's move on to the Bad Batch. In the many videos I've done talking about the final season of the show, be it Asajj Ventress, Omega, Mount Tantiss, the one thing we've not spoken about is how somber and honestly very sinister the banner for the final season is on Disney+. When you go to the app, or you open the website, and you see the banners at the top, all the adverts for what's streaming now or what's coming up, the one for the Bad Batch is extremely depressing. It's very plain, and just has Hunter's Season 2 mercenary helmet. And when you contrast it to the posters for Seasons 1 and 2, it's extremely bleak. And more than ever, I'm starting to take what the voice actors have been teasing on social media for weeks seriously, and we've had more of this dark foreshadowing from the Kainas and Nashir Dalal, who voice Rampart. This idea that Season 3 is going to be very tragic and heartbreaking. And I said this on social media last night, I've got a very bad feeling about Hunter. You see a lot of foreshadowing in Season 1 that eventually Hunter is not going to be able to be there for Omega as he promised, and one day she's going to have to fend for herself on her own. In fact, it was in Season 1 Episode 9, Omega voices to someone who's become her parental figure, Hunter, that she knows eventually the Empire's going to catch up to them, use her for experimentation, and keep sending bounty hunters. And while that's been true in the first 2, it's all come to a head when she's been captured, and going into the 3rd, it looks more likely than ever Omega is going to lose that protection. Even if they break her out at first, I can't see how Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo are going to avoid death. sacrificing themselves when the clone uprising takes place. Omega will eventually be left on her own, which is why I think it's important she forms a bond with her brother, Boba Fett. I hope he appears in this season, and I suspect if Hunter does die, his legacy is going to affect Omega in the same way Jango affected Boba Fett, forever haunting her, forever being a defining moment of her childhood. Eventually, she might even adopt armor that is similar to Hunter's, out of respect for his memory, even though they're all her brothers. I think Hunter's been the most like a dad, instead of the fraternal, brotherly bond she shares with the likes of Echo and Wrecker, the big teddy bear of the group. I've got a bad feeling about Hunter, guys, that's all I'll say. And going back just for a minute to the foreshadowing, it adds a dark twist to the quote, "Are you ready for this? We move fast. We're not going anywhere. You're stuck with us for the long run." We're now only 19 days away from the season premiere. 3 episodes. Don't miss my reviews and breakdowns. This is the final time we get a chance to do this, the Bad Batch's final season, and we're gonna go very deep with the analysis. And so finally, my dear friends, yesterday we had a very important update for the Acolyte. A lot of rumours are going around saying that it's going to be released sometime in late May or early June, but now another reliable source, Cryptic HD Quality, has stated the show is almost ready for release, but it's currently under review. What are they talking about? The Acolyte underwent recent reshoots, and there's been a trailer ready for a while, waiting in the wings. They said this: "The only Disney materials I can think of," and they're talking about a cryptic project that begins with the letter A, are Planet of the Apes, Agatha, and Acolyte, and they're talking about trailers releasing sometime at the Super Bowl next week. I don't know if we're going to get one that soon, but they have heard the Acolyte is almost ready to go. I think they want to focus on the Bad Batch first, get it out the way, and then start marketing the next project, which is going to be the Acolyte. They generally don't have 2 trailers for a Star Wars project at any one time. They want to let the first one breathe. So that seems like what they're going to do for the Bad Batch Season 3. The Acolyte is coming soon though. Check out yesterday's video if you missed it. We did cover some very important details there. But with that said, my dear friends, share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.